Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Hey Man. I'm Josh Wolf.
I am Jacob Wolf. Hey, man.
Hey, man. We're excited to be here today. Just so you know, we just did a mini 20-minute podcast, but I just forgot to hit record.
So we're back.
And let's just jump into the middle of the conversation we were having because I feel like it's pretty pertinent to the people who are listening. And by the way, there's a bunch of stuff we want to get to today. Why don't you go over a couple of things you want to talk about?
We're going to talk about the undisputed best DH of all time, first ballot Hall of Famer David Ortiz, Big Papi. We're going to talk about that and his induction, and just some stuff around that. And then we're going to talk about started working on Hell's Kitchen, so we're going to get into that for a little bit. I'm going to Panama for a show next month. And then what we're doing right now, which is what we're talking about, is so he asked me a question, which is, does your generation have you want to do it?
No, let me just say one thing before we get into that. Okay. So guys, we're still trying to figure out our technology and what is going to work best for us. I just hired a producer / engineer.
Sweet.
And we are buying you a camera. But so in the meantime, we still have the iPhone. Where's your iPhone? Above the camera? So if we end up using the recording on screen here, you'll see Jacob look above the screen because he's looking at his iPhone some, and you'll see me looking to my left because I'm looking at my iPhone some, because I'm not sure which one of those is going to look the best. So
but
just
we will
come
back down, for certain conversations, we'll come back down for a face-to-face.
100%. And so go ahead and tell everybody what we were talking about on the other podcast that we never recorded.
That you never recorded. So he asked me a question, which is, does my generation, or can I think of any movie or music video that may be kind of a staple for my generation? Like for him and for the 80s, it was Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink and Fast Times at Ridgemont High and all that kind of stuff. And for
Fast Times was a little before me, but Thriller.
Oh, and then Thriller for a music video. You have the White Snake music video.
Take on Me, White Snake video. Yeah.
For me, I can't really think of a music video that was that influential, I would guess. Nothing that I can remember that somebody put out and then people started dressing like it, or people wanted to look like that dude in the music video. I mean, everybody wanted to dress or wanted to dance like Chris Brown in his music videos, but none of those really stood out. I would also say not a relatable one, but one that definitely my whole generation has seen is Soulja Boy, Crank That, because we had to learn the dance. So that was kind of
what song is that? Don't sing it. We won't be able to.
It's
what's the? Oh yeah.
Okay. Crank That.
Yeah.
So we all had to watch a video to learn the dance. But if I had to really pick one, and it's fairly new, but it's the only one for me that would.
Look at me for now.
Oh, the only one for me that would make sense is Euphoria. Because it's a girl going through high school. She's got some drug problems and she's got some family issues, and it's just her life from what I know, because I have not watched Euphoria.
Right, and you don't watch it. How come?
I had a buddy of mine, best friend of mine, who OD'd a couple years ago, and so for me, and it was 2 years out of high school, maybe.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just something that I just don't feel like putting myself through a mental hole if I go watch it. I bet you it's a great show. I hear Zendaya sometimes at her best, and I totally get that. And by the way, my girlfriend and I are Zendaya stans. We love Zendaya. I'm with it. But it's
stans?
Not just stans. We stand for Zendaya.
Stand or stan?
I think it's a stan. STAN.
Okay.
But
is that some hip lingo I should be using? Hit me in a sentence. How would I use it?
We don't like the Zendaya slander. We stand for Zendaya.
Okay.
We're on Zendaya's team.
Okay.
But also, it's why I didn't see A Fault in Our Stars, is because it dealt with a musician with a drug problem trying to find his way back. And
right.
That was for me. That was not for me. That was all Jack was, but that was part of who Jack was.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just not worth the mental hole for me at all.
But okay, and I, by the way, completely understand that and agree with it. And you got to deal with that stuff in the time and measure that you feel is right for you.
Right.
Yeah, your mom and I were on a walk yesterday. By the way, dude, 3, not 1, 3 big boy coyotes.
2 more showed up.
Big boy coyotes. I showed your mom. Yo, first of all, these are not your skittish. LA coyotes are like mangy and they're skittish. They're like meth heads. They're like,
Well, they also because they have to deal. Most of their food comes from people's pets or garbage.
yo, well, this is it's a methy, twitchy, anxious group of coyotes. Unhealthy looking. Yo,
Wile E. Coyote kind of stuff.
these 3, if you had shown me from a distance and regal, good posture, you know what I mean? Standing up straight like this. These 3, not nervous, not scared of me in Indiana at all. And your mom and I were walking, actually. It was yesterday. And I was like, look at those 3. And it's been crazy seeing them. Did you see the one on my Instagram, dude?
Yeah. We were on the phone right before you took that video, remember?
Oh, that's right, dude. Hey, not a small coyote, was it?
No, it was not. But so here's my thing, and also a warning. I want you to be careful. If you saw one the other day and it was 1, cool. You saw 3 the next day, awesome. If you go back and there's more, you should stop going down that path.
Yeah, you know what I actually did?
They're sizing you up. They're seeing how many they may need to take on you in Indiana. If you go back and there is more than 3, don't go back ever again.
Well, from what I understand, they're not coming after me ever.
No, but also we want to keep our little buddy safe.
Yeah. And I will tell you, I had him off leash around that area because there's no people. Right. And so I've been having him, but not anymore, dude.
He will pick a fight.
Yeah, but my fear is that they lure him off into the hills.
Yeah, and then there's 40 of them.
Yeah, and it's over for my buddy.
Yeah, and we're not letting that happen.
No, man. No, he's too silly to let something like that happen. No. But
just that warning. Like, if more show up, I would just really just keep an eye out or bring a big stick with you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yo, dude, for real. Like, they're different. I've never even thought about them. The LA Coyotes were so nervous, and you could and they would just scoot.
Yeah,
I had this guy.
He walked towards you.
He was just sitting there. He was on the path. I told you that one who was on the path following us. When I turned around, he just sat down and looked at me, and nothing. Nothing. I took a step, nothing. I had to pick up a rock. By the way, and the only reason he moved is because it missed his head by probably half an inch. Yo, when I threw it, I was like, that's got a chance. Now, you know, I was like, oh, okay. I got a shot at this one. You know what I mean? And
he just went Neo from the Matrix and went woof.
It just went boom. And when it went boom, he got a little skittish and ran this way. And I almost hit him a couple times when he was running up. But yeah, man, it's because look, dude.
I wouldn't have missed. That's the problem. And he may have gotten angry, but I would not have missed.
No, they're not getting angry. They're running away. What are you saying? Are you saying you have better aim than I do?
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Definitely.
Wait a second. Are you telling me you think pick the challenge and we're gonna film it.
Well, we go football on a trash can from distance. We can go trash can basketball with a little balled up paper. Anything.
Yo, this weekend in Columbus, we're doing balls of paper in the trash can.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. We'll play a game of horse around the hotel room.
Okay.
Perfect. But here's the thing: the trash can has to stay in the same spot the entire game.
Huh?
You know what I'm saying? Because some people I grew. This is my generation's thing, by the way. Trash can basketball, this is us.
Yeah, but then
some people used to move it, so we just have to put it in a spot to where we can access it from different angles.
Okay.
Would you want to move the trash can every shot?
I think it's up to you. We can play your rules. I'll beat you by whatever rules you want.
We don't move the basketball
No,
hoop when we play horse.
I feel good about beating you at your rules.
And also, like if we were to do that, like a fun trick shot with like throwing a football into a trash can from distance, I'd beat you.
That I'm gonna crush you. Oh my god, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Are you kidding right now? Here's what the winner gets. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
And let's call this a 3-parter. The basketball that we're gonna do this weekend, football and trash can.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to get us at a fair or an amusement park to throw those things and knock them down.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one.
So if somebody doesn't win the first, because it's going to be best 2 out of 3.
Right.
If somebody doesn't win the first 2,
Ready?
Then we find an amusement park. If whoever wins, the other person has to say in the camera that other person is a better athlete.
Oh, okay. You only want me to say that because you know it's not true.
No, you just have to admit it. It's like I would have you admit to ordering the porn, but let's just have you admit that I'm a better athlete.
Deal, because it won't happen.
Deal. So you would say
the carpet of the hotel room with your face.
You
with your face in the face.
You would say, let's just make sure we get the lingo down so nobody can back out on it. Tell me exactly what you want me to say.
I would like you to say into camera, my name's Josh Wolf, and I'm just here to say the thing that I always knew was true, and that my son's a better athlete than I am or ever will be.
Well, that's a mouthful. So you just want me to? You want me to say? I'm not going to say it because I want to clip it right now.
Damn it!
Yeah, fuck you. You think this is my first rodeo, bro? I'm not giving you that.
I've got you with a couple clips though, so
yeah, you do. Okay, and here's what I would say. I want you to say, "Hey, this is Jacob Wolf, and my dad is and always will be a far superior athlete than I am."
Far superior. All right, we'll see. We're gonna make 7.
Oh, I can't wait for this. Oh, I can't wait for this.
Speaking of accuracy, have you ever seen like a fair game? Because this is the first time I saw it. I went to the OC Fair this past summer with my girlfriend, Maaan, and we got up to like there was a basketball hoop one, right, and there was another one. There was a pitching one. There was a fake catcher at the plate with an open glove, and you had to hit the glove. I had never seen that before, and so I went up and I was like, "Yeah, okay, I give this a shot." I haven't thrown a baseball in I don't even know how long. These aren't even real baseballs. And so I took like 3 extra steps back because I was like, in order for me to hit like the middle of the plate, I need to have a little room. And so I took a couple steps back. First one right off the top of the glove. Second and third straight in. Won a giant teddy bear. I had never
really.
Yeah. And everybody else who went up didn't make one. They were like, "How'd you do that?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Your accuracy was always good, dude. I'll admit as a pitcher, but that's why we're not doing that. We're doing the ones that I know I'm gonna win.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Let me just get back to real quick. And there is something we talked about on the podcast before that we didn't record that I do want to get back into that I thought was fun. But so you guys don't have a breakfast club.
No.
You don't even have, like I said, you don't have a Superbad because Superbad is generation before you.
Yeah. I really don't have an answer for that one. Like maybe I'm just not thinking about it, but well, no, that's not. Well,
who would you consider your generation of movie stars? Tom Holland?
Yeah, probably. I would probably go like Avengers, like.
Yeah, but Robert Downey Jr. is not your generation.
No.
Who's your generation?
Scarlett Johansson.
No. Who's your generation of stars? Tom Holland, like that age. Zendaya. Who else?
Timothy Chalamet.
That you identify with. It's funny, like
I don't. You know me. I'd rather. I usually identify with athletes over actors.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't really know. I thought of another movie. It's sci-fi still. I haven't seen it in so long, so I don't know if there's anything relatable in it. So this might just be another Harry Potter shot in the dark, like the Chronicles of Narnia. But
It's an old book, though. It's an old book. Like I was reading those books when I was growing up.
Dating yourself.
Is it?
I don't know. Is it?
Now, one thing that we talked about on the unrecorded podcast, we were talking about your hair.
Yeah.
And I was asking you if you ever sang in the mirror with your hair. Now, to me, your hair is very rock and roll.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, like, do you bang your head when you do hip hop? And so
what is more of an aggressive head nod than a head bang?
Okay. What is your song that you would be like, man, I would have loved to have sung this song live in front of a crowd because it would get them so hype. Like, what's the song? I just
thought of a better one. So we'll flash, like, just a couple years ago, like there was a song that came out that was called Mo Bamba. I don't know if you, and I won't sing it because it's explicit. There's a lot of things in it, but also DMCA. And it was
DNCA?
DMCA.
What's that?
That's pretty much I'm pretty sure that's the legal thing it's a DMCA. Like you have to have a DMCA signed in order to play or talk about or like play copyrighted music on a podcast.
Well, let's talk about what we think DMCA stands for. C stands for copyright.
M stands for music.
Digital Music Copyright Agreement.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Has to be. Well, we're going to Google it after this, too, because I'd actually very much like to know.
Digital Music Copyright Agreement? A DMCA?
Sounds right.
I mean, if it's not, that's what it should be.
I would agree with that. You see, right. I mean, that sounds spot on to me. But yeah, DMCA, by the way, that is what it is. So, and that song was just the ultimate party song. Like every house party or like anything you would need to get a hype up going, you would just put on Mo Bamba by Sheck Wes, and it just jumped. Like,
it's a great name for a song too, Mo Bamba.
Well, he's a basketball player.
Yes. Yeah.
And so the last hook in the chorus was, and I'm balling like my Mo. And then the other would be Bamba. And it would just be in it. It would drop right there. And it was just, oh my God. Yeah. Sheck Wes is part of Travis's label. So he's got a lot of energy as well. Like he's really just like amped up. And funny enough, actually is playing professional basketball over in Paris currently.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, I told you what my song is, so we don't have to pretend like you have to guess again. In the unrecorded podcast, he guessed. But my song, and it's because of the video. I remember watching this video and watching this specific lyric and made me think, ooh, I want to sing that song. And it was Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. Because when he said, I seen a million faces and just shoots his hand up, blam, and the lights turn on and I rocked them all. It's like, God, yeah, I want to rock them all too.
I can't wait for somebody to clip the face you just made. Whoever hears this, make sure I just want a picture of that man's face right then in that moment. Please send it to me. Thank you.
By the way, people listening, both Jacob and I believe this song needs this pod needs a theme song. So if you're musically inclined, we also, I'm not psyched with the t-shirts. I would like a new Hey Man. So if you guys come up with a graphic and if we use it, I will pay you. On top of that, a reminder about the tattoos. If you want to get a Hey Man tattoo, design it. Tell me how much it costs. Tell me where you're at. I will pay the tattoo dude.
Yeah.
First, what do you think? 4 people.
First 4 people, but also if we get a good amount, we'll go through them to see which we think
how about that? Yeah.
Best. And
the 4 that we like. But I'm not going to send you money, but I'll pay the tattoo dude.
Yeah. Unless it's because also sometimes they have to pay with cash though, so we'll have to figure that out. Some tattoo parlors are cash only.
Really?
Yeah. Well, at least the place I went to go get.
Ooh, we could probably
This one was
Venmo or
cash only.
PayPal.
I mean, they were only cash only. So again, we'll figure out logistics when we get to it. However, again, everybody, if you have an idea and you'd like to send it to us,
Yeah.
we will possibly pay for it.
So I forgot that tattoo. We'd love some artwork in a song, but what I was getting to about the Bon Jovi and your hair. Do you ever rock out with the hair? And what
Look,
songs
man,
do you?
I have Rage Against the Machine on my phone. So when
You
that comes
do?
up on my phone, yeah, when I hear "Bana, bana, bana," like I'll just start doing that in the car. Like, yeah, no.
Do you,
Oh yeah, definitely. It's part of the
what's
reason also I grew out my hair again because I can headbang because I haven't been able to do it in so long. So now that I can do it, it's awesome.
what song do you remember most vividly listening to in the minivan?
It was either Bulls on Parade or something Nirvana.
Oh, Bulls on Parade. We did listen to a lot.
Mm-hmm. Or we did a lot of Nirvana. We did a lot of Pearl Jam. We did Soundgarden.
We did. We must have listened to "Say It Ain't So" about a zillion times. By
Oh my
Weezer.
God, Weezer! I forgot. Yeah,
I mean,
we did Bon Jovi. We did Michael Jackson. We did everything.
yeah, we listen to a lot of different types of music for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure,
Absolutely.
for sure. Has anybody been reaching out to you about your OnlyFans for your feet?
No, I did get a random one, though.
Nobody has reached. Can I tell you how many people have reached out to me? Nobody has reached out to you.
Not a single person.
Every person is like, well, some of the comments are like, yeah, Jake, we understand. But most people are like, take the money. You know
Well,
how funny we can make this?
Yeah, no, I understand it. Okay, I understand it. In all honesty, in the athlete challenge, I was going to say whoever, like, if you win, I won't put up a fight anymore and just do the OnlyFans thing. But you made your own winner, so boom, bummer.
Honestly, I think you'll succumb to the. Not. It's not even pressure. You'll see the error of your ways. You'll realize that
The error of my ways. What is this? Dumbledore
like
telling Frodo what he's doing?
that's two different movies.
Oh my God, that is Dumbledore. What's his fucking name?
His name's
That
Harry
was-
Potter.
No, Gandalf. That's what I wanted to say.
Dumbledore and Gandalf are also two different movies.
No, I meant to say Gandalf instead of Dumbledore.
Oh,
And
Gandalf and
Dumbledore?
Frodo. Yeah, you're a Dumbledore.
I'm gonna start calling people a Dumbledore.
Is it Dumbledore or Dumbledorf? It's Dumbledore, right?
I don't think there is an F at the end of that.
Dumbledorf. They're campy, right?
I'm gonna start calling you Dumbledore.
You're Dumbledorf. What are you doing, Dumbledorf?
It's actually way funnier than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, Jacob Dumbledorf.
Instead of Dingus, I'm just gonna call you Dumbledore.
Have you ever been tempted to call me Josh?
No, it's weird. I might do it one day just to see the reaction and film it, but I don't know.
It seems weird.
I see the funniest videos of like kids on the internet, like infants calling their dads by their first name, and he's like calling like this one kid calls her dad Mike, and he's like, "I'm Daddy," and she goes, "No, you're Mike," and I'm like, where does that even come from? Like,
Yeah.
my kid will never call me by my first name, or else we're gonna have issues.
Yeah, that's not how I did. Yeah. And by the way, let me tell you something else. And to each his own. But and if I can get just a little serious with you. Everybody calls you by your name. It's such a privilege, and it feels so good when somebody calls you dad or mom. Like people who aren't getting that, it's just like, to me, it's one of the benefits. Not everybody gets to be called that, man. You know what I mean? Especially by yeah, but for me, it's more like that is right. Like that I am that person's dad. Like, yeah, we have, and it implies history and love and all this stuff that is wrapped up in this one word that isn't wrapped up in the word Josh.
Right.
You know? But what if okay, I got a good one for you. And then I have one more question. And then let's get to David Ortiz. If my name wasn't Josh, what do you think? What would have been a good name for me?
Mm, I
Do
don't
I
know.
look like a Teddy?
No, because we know a Teddy, and you
Mark.
don't. No, too generic.
Um, Dylan.
Nope. You said you always wanted to be called Dylan. Nope.
I know.
What about
Jacob.
Christian?
Oh yeah. As I'm
I
looking
don't.
at myself,
I don't hate Christian. In all honesty,
Christian the Jew.
yeah, actually,
I love that.
yep.
Christian Wolf. Yeah, dude, that is not. It's not a terrible call.
Don't hate it. Not gonna lie. Don't hate it. Go change your
Now,
name,
do you know what your name almost was?
Charlie.
Yeah.
Very glad it wasn't.
Are you?
Yeah, I like my name.
I love your name too, man.
I like my name the way it is.
And your name fits really well.
Yeah, I would have dodged the Twilight references in school, but it's okay.
Yeah, honestly, it was just a time. Yeah, it was just a timing thing. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, and dude, like, it was up to the last minute.
Really?
Yeah.
They give you a time in order to name your kid?
Well, for us, I mean, we didn't want you walking around with no name.
How long? How long did it take you guys to name me?
I mean, you were probably a month old. No, I'm
I
kidding.
was just sitting there, no name face.
Yeah, we just called you.
there.
We just called you baby. Hey, baby. Hey, baby.
What are you doing, baby?
It'd be great if we just called you baby. Hey, baby, baby. No, last minute, like probably 3 or 4 days before you were born.
Oh, that's not really last minute.
For names, I think maybe it is. I think
mean,
people decide.
Some people decide on the spot.
Do you have an idea what you'd want to name your kid?
No, I got no ideas. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna throw Christian out. I'm definitely might put that in my back pocket.
What about Josh?
No, we can't have any more J's, man. There's too many of us.
How is that such a hard pass?
There's too many J's.
What
Like,
are besides me and you? What do you got? And Jonathan.
Jonathan
Okay.
and sorry, I just looked up out my window and there was literally a pigeon trying to fly, but he was stuck in midair because the wind was so strong. And he just was sitting there gliding, but just going up and down and not going forward.
Yeah, like one of those wave pools.
Yeah, I got kind of distracted. I apologize.
Yo, by the way, if you see me doing this, there's a fly flying around. By the way, this fly is look. And when you ask me, hey, how come you don't camp? This fly is the reason. The level of which this fly is driving me crazy, just being in the house. When there's a mosquito in the tent,
mosquito in the tent. That's a rookie camp move.
What do you mean? How do you keep mosquitoes out of your tent?
You put the cover over it like you're supposed to.
And when you're setting it up, you can't stop. When you go in and out of the tent, there's mosquitoes. You can't 100% mosquito proof your tent.
You can leave the door shut before, like while you're setting it up. So then when you have to get stuff in it, you have everything prepped and ready. And then you open it slightly at the bottom, throw your stuff in, zip it back up. And then when you have everything in there, you go inside, you shut the door, and you set up the tent while you're in the tent.
Okay, but so while you open the door, you can 100% guarantee that a mosquito is not going to fly in?
Can you 100% guarantee that a mosquito is going to fly in?
No.
Great.
What's your point?
But my point is, the longer you leave the door open to your tent, the better chance you have. Now, I'm also saying the less you open it, as in literally the less amount. So if you don't open it fully and just a little bit, and for the less amount of time,
I get that.
You limit the mosquitoes.
I get that.
Then what are we talking about?
But I'm just saying that's the reason I don't. Here's why I don't camp. Mosquito in the tent all night. I'm gonna kill somebody. I can't do that. Second of all, I like my snacks in my munchies. Bears. You can't leave that stuff in your tent.
Depends on where you're camping.
Bears, raccoons, doesn't matter. They
Don't
smell.
have those Joshua tree.
That's true. 3, you know what's way more comfortable than the ground? My bed.
Air mattress.
You know what's more comfortable than any air mattress? My bed. Do you know what's better than outside when you go to sleep? Inside. Do you know what's
Disagree.
nice? A toilet. You know what's nice? A shower. You know what's nice? Internet. You know what's nice? A roof. You know what's nice? Room service. These are all things that I consider to be nice. Now, if you want to go outside, I'll stay outside with you until whenever. But when you're like, hey, I'm going to go, I'd be like, cool, let me get inside.
Sometimes it ruins the fun, man. Sometimes you just want to camp under the stars.
Who does? You
I
love it.
do.
Yeah, I know you love it.
My senior year, I took a, like a
Get that a little closer.
Really?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
A spontaneous, I was going to say simultaneous. That wasn't right. A spontaneous road trip with 3 of my buddies, and we drove to Joshua Tree, and we didn't even set up a tent. We climbed on some rocks, brought a bunch of blankets, and literally slept on those rocks side by side.
Okay. How high were you?
Regular high. No mushrooms high. So,
You fell asleep on rocks?
yeah, we brought like 6 blankets.
So? Total?
What? 6 blankets as a base, and then we all had a sleeping bag for ourselves. So we were chilling.
Who was on that trip?
It was me. It was me, Jake, Kian, and Tyler. 2 of which I do not speak to anymore.
But you know what, dude, and you know this. That's life.
Yeah, but it's a cool memory.
Yeah. But that's life. It doesn't have to besmirch that memory. You know what I mean?
Right.
And those dudes played a role in the person you are now. You know what I mean? So I'm glad you don't hold any bitterness or anything like that. You just know that that was a chapter of your life that you're not living in anymore.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, do I hear a little pooparoo? Hi, buddy. What are you doing? Do you want to come say hello to me? Ready? 1, 2, 3, up. Oh, yeah. Say hi, Boogaloo.
Look at that cutie.
Hi, Boogaloos.
He's so cute.
I love you. Go ahead over there. Okay. Go get on the bed. She's just gonna walk around for a second.
Do you want to be not right now, and I'm not trying to, but do you want to be a dad?
Yes.
How many kids do you think you want to have?
Oh, Milo just shook my whole camera. He's just walking around under everything. Go ahead. No, buddy, I'm moving that for you. You fucking dingus. Hi. He does not know where to go with all these wires. I would say 2 max.
And boy, girl, doesn't matter. Do you want to coach baseball?
Yes. Well, I want to coach something. So whether it's, but I also like
softball, baseball. Yeah.
I have no problem being a girl dad.
No, you're going to do great either way, man. You really are. You're going to, what are you looking at? What are you trying to make sure he doesn't knock shit over?
He doesn't knock shit over. Yeah, exactly.
All
right. He's on the bed. We're good.
All right. Now tell me, dude, how psyched were you that Big Poppy got the,
I teared up. I teared up at work.
Should we, by the way, one of my favorite things about you, dude, and this has been you since you were young. You're very free with your emotions. You've always been somebody when you're happy, you'll tear up. Like that's that's not something that you've ever fought or you're ashamed of. And so tell everybody a little bit about like your relationship with Poppy and all that stuff.
Well, I will say first of all, there's no reason to hide when you're happy. Like if you're happy and you're overjoyed with something, there's no other way to express it except letting it out, then let it out. Like that's always something good for people to know. Secondly, like, again, it's not like my relationship with Poppy isn't like we text every day or like we're best friends or we FaceTime, but he's my favorite athlete of all time. And he's, someone I had looked up to a lot, and being able to meet him and befriend him and his family and his kids, to going to his golf tournaments, to, having a tequila with him and sitting and just talking about life is like
crazy, right?
One of the coolest things I could have never even asked for.
Yeah. Like, crazy.
And, he said some things to me that, just lightened my day. Like he said, the dick pics joke, the iCloud joke was his favorite joke. After that, I told you could tell whatever story you wanted.
Yeah, I remember
because of the fact that he told that to me, said it was his favorite joke. And then we went and had dinner with him. And
Yeah, I remember.
he never brought it up again. And he treated me like a regular person, just like the person I was, and not just like I was content, which was awesome. He's so authentic. He's such a genuine guy. His people around him are all amazing. Like
Can I
all
tell
the
you,
people
by the way,
we've met,
one of the
just been
things that he
outstanding.
told me that he really likes about you?
Hmm.
He was like, he treats me like I'm just some dude.
Yeah.
He was like, he's not caught up in any of it. He just treats me like I'm just a guy named David. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, a lot of that is because you've been around it a bunch.
I was raised the right way too, though.
Yeah, but like also you're just a good dude. Your instincts are right. But
Right.
like it's something that guys like that or people like that, I'm sure men, women, both, they want to just be treated like a regular person, you know? And
Yeah.
so,
Because
yeah.
because every day of their life they're not. They're treated like someone
Did you,
who's above people.
yeah. And did you think he would get in first ballot? Did you think that they would vote in Bonds or Clemens? You didn't. I thought they'd
No.
vote in Bonds for sure.
Nope. Look, you can't go 9 years not voting him in and then on a 10th pity him and throw him in there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you
I
just can't
think
do that.
what I thought is that they would punish him for being an asshole and being a liar, not for being a cheat, because there's a ton of those and they're all over the place. And there's some in the Hall of Fame right now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And there will be some who continue to get in.
Mhm.
But to me, he's really punished just like Clemens, just like A-Rod
A-Rod too, yeah.
Dude, Kurt Schilling never tested positive. He is straight up not in the Hall of Fame because the writers don't like him. That's it, man. You can't tell me there's any other reason. And so, like, I think Clemens and Bonds both fell victim to that. If they had been a little more gracious, they may have had to sit out for a little while. But I think people would have eventually voted him in. What I'm really going to be curious about, Jacob, is if the players vote them in the years coming up.
Can the players vote them in?
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but after you go through the 10 years with the writers, I think the year after you get put in front of the players in the hall and they get to vote. I think
it's only players in the hall get.
I think their peers, there's a vote of their peers. And so here's what I think. I think old school dudes are going to be like, but I think people who were around it or in it or did it are going to be like, yeah, what the fuck?
Right, but doesn't he need a 75% vote or is it a 50% vote?
I don't know what it's. I'll have to Google it after the pod. But dude, he was the reason Bond should be in the Hall of Fame is he was a Hall of Fame player pre-steroids. He was the best player in baseball before he is such a. You're asking my opinion now.
Yeah.
Such an egomaniac.
Yeah.
And
he was obsessed with being the best.
Obsessed with being the best and was the best without a doubt. And all the headlines had to do with McGuire and Sosa. And he felt like, look at these motherfuckers. Half the and true. Look, Sammy Sosa is a quarter of the baseball player Barry Bonds was. Sosa steroids, not as good, close to as good as Bonds, not steroids. Right. Like it's not even like, right? But he was like, these fools are getting all the publicity. Mm-hmm. Oh, and he just couldn't handle it. I can't imagine what Griffey would have been like on steroids. The reason Griffey's numbers aren't through the roof is because he got injured but he got injured when you knew him because he was starting to get older. He aged the way people age, you know? So where do you fall on all that stuff?
For me, man, I just like you take advantage of the system and you take advantage of the stature and the power and the money and the fame that you have. I just don't believe that you should be put into a hall with some of the greatest of all time because your bad outweighs your good. I understand that he may have been a Hall of Fame player before the steroids, but you put the steroids in and that Hall of Fame for me disappears. You tried to cheat the system.
You're saying that but by the way, he's never been caught, right? He's never popped positive.
Right.
Okay. And by the way, when people say that to me, I'm like, whatever, dude. Look at him. Nobody's head grows when they're 40, right? But so now we're just going on whatever, because there are people. Look, man, and I think he should be in the hall, and I don't give a shit about this. But
People who
Poppy
accuse
was on
Poppy.
Poppy was on that list of
I think. Oh wait, of positive tests.
He was on that list that came out through Balco.
When was that?
It was anonymous. You'd have to Google it, dude. And it's never been verified, right? All that stuff. He was on a list.
So I'll figure out the time frame for that, and then we'll have that discussion another time. But for me, look, and also who's to say that, and I mean this with all of the utmost respect to the captain, even though he's a Yankee, who's to say that Jeter played for how many seasons?
Yeah.
Like for me, like I think there's a difference for me between steroids and PEDs, and there's a difference between that and then something that you're putting into your body just to make sure that you're not breaking down completely right away. Like, look, Poppy in his later years, right? He told us, he was like, yo, I'm fucking tired. I'm fucking tired. Like
he said that a lot.
Like my feet hurt.
His feet hurt.
I don't like to run around the bases. Like, none of that shit. Like,
think about it. It wasn't his body. His last year was tremendous.
Yeah.
He did not have in a mental fortitude. That's not a negative, to fight that daily battle. And by the way, this thing I'm saying about David being on that list wasn't official. It was just like something somebody found. But I'm just throwing it up as a devil's advocate for what 100%. You said. Because 100%. He should be in the Hall of Fame, and there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Okay. And to answer your first question, I knew he was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. For me, there was no question about it. There's just no question, man. There's no, like, if you put up what he's done and what he's done for the city of Boston and just the game of baseball and how he's done it and his clutch hits and like clutch hits over and over and over and over again.
What's your favorite sports memory of yours?
I think him sending Torrey Hunter over the wall in 2013.
Yours, you playing sports.
Like of me, like mine. Winning that TOC was pretty cool. Tournament of Champions. That was pretty awesome. Hitting my one and only home run over a fence my last year of league baseball. That was a rocket. That was a fucking rocket ship to dead center.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't think it ever got more than 4 feet off the ground.
You just went jumping.
It went boo! Oh yeah, man! I was super excited for you.
That one wasn't an ice rocket. That one had some air because it was.
Oh, I remember the one you're talking about. I remember you talking about.
Yes, that one was about letter high. So in this game, we were playing a team that was known to not be super good, and so I came in and I was starting pitcher as well. I threw 9 pitches. I threw 9 strikes, and I struck out the side. And I was like, all right, great start. And I'm 13, and I have this hair actually that I have right now. Like I have this length hair. And I get in and I'm leading off. And I was like, cool, let's get up there. Let's use the momentum. Let's run it. First pitch, I'm green light. And I see the ball and I hit it. And I never hit a home run before, but I understand what they mean when you knew it was gone right when it left the bat. Because I hit it, and you remember me, I kind of just looked up and dropped my bat.
You were so psyched, dude.
And then the head coach at third, because you were still touring at some point at this time, so you were our assistant coach, but I listened to you more than I did listen to our head coach. And our head coach was like, "Don't watch it." And I dropped the bat and ran to first, and I looked at him and I went, "It's already gone."
Yeah. And
I ran to first, and you were jumping, and I ran. We did that low 5, and I ran around the bag. The shortstop on the other team even high-fived me when I ran past second.
Yeah.
And again, tears of joy. I was fucking crying when I got into that dugout. I was so excited. I will say the one downside of that is, here's the thing: in Little League baseball, when one of your teammates hits a home run, where do you go? To home base to crowd them. Nobody came to home.
What?
I touched plate by myself. Did a little one just for like whatever, and then ran into the dugout. Not a single kid came to congratulate me at home.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Do you remember
It very much is.
I have two vivid memories from you playing, neither of which
Are good.
have to do with you playing. One, do you remember when we were doing coach pitch over in, it might have been our first year over in Sherman Oaks.
Okay.
And there was it was Larry Miller's kid, old comedian. This kid was super funny, but a little whatever. And he always liked to play catcher, and you'd hear him behind the plate. Come on, let's do this. Come on. And then he would put his glove up, and then the pitcher would throw the ball, and he'd move his glove, and he would move his chest protector. He liked getting hit he would go, ooh, and he'd pick it up and throw it. It was super funny.
That's the early signs of a serial killer.
It was super. He didn't do it every time, but it was super funny. My other favorite moment is, remember when we were playing against Mustachio?
Yeah.
This was the first, look, guys, in youth sports, once in a while, somebody comes along who's already full grown. You know what I'm talking about?
It's like the scene from the Benchwarmers where he comes up with a piece of paper and it says, I am 12, and he's drinking from a flask. Like it's like that scene.
There's always that person in youth sports and one team where you're like, does he have a mustache? Like the kid when I was growing up, his name was Ortiz Yandian, and he was a full grown Armenian, but he was 12.
I was going to say Russian, but that works too.
He might have been Armenian. He was the first person I tried mescaline with. Yeah, at a baseball game. Not watching the baseball game, playing. Yeah. Maybe it was just practice. But our team,
not a good idea.
Neither one. Our team, but we had everybody plays against that one person, hair on their arms. You know what I mean? You're like, did you drive?
Developed. Yeah, it looks like you just dropped your kids off at daycare.
By the way, most of those dudes who are like that aren't tall, right? They're tall for their age, maybe they're 5'8", but that's it. But they got muscles. You know what I mean? You're like, what? Is he smoking a cigarette? Like that kind of dude.
Yeah.
You remember facing Mustachio? That dude could bring it.
That dude could throw the ball. I did. I hit a little blooper down the first base line that fell in right behind the first baseman and right in front of the right fielder. And I got to first. As I was getting like halfway to first, I was going to round. And then all I hear is you go, pick it up, go to. And I was like, all right. And I hit that corner and I just ran straight for second base, and no one had any idea what happened. But also, do you remember in that same game, I think it's my maybe not my best highlight in the field, but best highlight, I think, from the outfield.
Without doubt.
So a kid hit a ball up the middle, and I'm playing center field, which, by the way, I played two positions. It was center field and pitcher. And those because for me, I wanted to be command of wherever I was. Center field, that's my outfield. Pitcher.
You were also really fast, dude. You were a fast kid, and you could cover the ground.
Had legs. Yeah. And also, I just had good judgment on balls.
But also, dude, you've always been 3/4 legs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this dude hits a ball up the middle, and I come and field it, and I see the kid who was on second trying to round third, and I was like, oh, dude, no way. There's no way you're about to run on me. Like, I know you're not that guy. You're not that fast. I watched you steal second barely because of a wild pitch, and they still almost threw you out. Third base coach was ballsy. He was like, nah, he's too deep. He's not going to make that throw. And so I come up just ready because I see it before I even get the ball. And I field that ball, and I get it in my glove, and I don't even grab it out of my glove. I kind of pop it up, and I grab it with my right hand, and just biggest crow hop of my life, and just wing it home. And I end up like on the ground and kind of looking up to make sure I beat that man by 3 steps in the air on a laser beam right to the catcher.
You know, your mom and I were talking about this the other day. The thing that I miss so much about you guys being kids is your activities. Jacob Wolf. I lost Jacob Wolf. Well, this was fun, everybody. What a great podcast. And what a good time. He must have got disconnected or something, because he's no longer here. So it's just me and you. But what I was going to tell him is I loved watching him play sports and the kids around that age. As it got into teenager, too much pressure is put on them and all that shit. And by the way, I'm not a give a trophy to everybody. That's not what I'm talking about. But the pressure shouldn't be to win or to be on the Yankees. The pressure should be to how can you get better? How you're not going to play professional baseball. So how are you going to get better? What can you do? How can you put the work in to get all that stuff, right? And honestly, my goal every year as a coach was that everybody on my team wanted to play again the next year. What I enjoyed the most is Jacob's unadulterated joy of being out there. As you get older, life fucking rubs on you. That sounds dirty, but it isn't. And at that age, he was just pure joy. And they all were. They were just playing because they love to play. And I'm in for that. All right, listen, guys. I love you. Hey, man. We're here every week. Let me think. Jacob's with me in Columbus this week. He's going to Panama, which he didn't get to tell you about. And to work on a TV show. He's also working on Hell's Kitchen right now. But we're going to bank a bunch of these to make sure that the Heymans are up to date. And that's it, guys. Josh Wolf Comedy. Please, if you're listening, please subscribe, download, rate, leave a review if you're doing it on iTunes, and here on YouTube, whatever it is that helps the algorithm. I don't know. I'm an old guy. All right, everybody. Hey, man. We love you. Later.
Thank you for the phone call. It doesn't matter if it's not ringing off the wall.